First things first, if you're watching this as a vlog and you haven't watched the series, we're gonna link to the playlist up here. Watch the Cold Island series because this is sort of a debrief with respect to that.
Becki, our trip, it's almost over.
Oh, thank God.
Not just to land right at the house, just to unload all of our crap.
We're home!
Oh, so nice to be home. That was such a long trip. Oh, it's great to be home. That was the craziest trip we've ever done. Hands down.
Yes.
Helicopters or not, that was the craziest trip ever.
Definitely. I feel like this trip tested our relationship to the max.
Do you think that it was more trying on our relationship than a home renovation?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
The trip is over now. It was nothing like I pictured it.
When you're planning something, especially this series that we were planning, you kind of have an idea of what you want to shoot, what you want to get, the things you're going to do. And the first day, everything just went out the window.
Out
it was
the
like,
window.
okay, what's episode 2? Nothing turned out the way I had pictured it.
But were you disappointed?
No.
I wasn't either, at all. We were making all of these discrete plans. It's gonna be a clean edit. Okay, day 1's gonna be getting there. Day 2's gonna be Battle Harbor. Day 3, we knew that was gonna change.
Yeah, we did.
I guess we didn't realize that it was gonna change to that degree.
The reason why we wanted to create this series separate from the vlog is it's something that I've wanted to do for a really long time, is create a long format travel series that's not just like a run and gun, now I'm doing this, now I'm doing that. It's more planned, cinematic shots. It's more of like a documentary style. I wanted to try something different.
And for me, I always wanted to fly a helicopter in Newfoundland. And as you may or may not know, we were going to live in Newfoundland. The whole story about why we're not, link up here. In Newfoundland, it's mostly uninhabited, rural, middle of nowhere places that are extremely scenic. And the fact that it's also our home province, I had this grand idea of just wanting to be able to explore the island with a helicopter.
I was so excited to finally go to Labrador.
I know, and Labrador gets neglected too.
It does, and we just never made it because the weather was such shit, so we're gonna have to go back.
I guess theoretically, Red Bay is in Labrador, where we saw the icebergs. So our skids didn't touch the ground, but we did see icebergs in Labrador.
We learned so much. Not only were we flying to a destination, but if you guys watched the series, you'll know that we had to fly over a lot of rural areas, no radio, no reception, no real way to get in touch with people. So if you guys follow us on Instagram, you might have seen us camping a couple of times, and that was all out of necessity. That was, the weather's bad, we had to camp, not, oh, let's go heli camping. And our intention wasn't to go heli camping, but we did bring the stuff.
Those intents are very different. You took very nice photos of our campsites, by the way. It looked very glamorous, and it looked very fun.
I posted one photo of the last night that we camped, and people were like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And literally that was the worst night camping ever.
I do agree when people say that you're very lucky, because we are very lucky.
We are very lucky.
But just, when you see photos of us heli camping, every time we camped, it was out of necessity because of weather, not because we're gonna have, oh, let's have a little camping vacation here and set it down here, we'll cook some marshmallows. It was, okay, the weather's too poor to continue, let's put it down here, we can survive here, and let's camp and then wake up early the next morning and try to get the hell out of here. There was a lot of complex decision making that we have never encountered before. An example being, when I'm flying in the US, I can always get flight following. I can always file flight plans. 80% of the time within cell phone reception. I always have ADS-B coverage for radar information. And if I had a SiriusXM satellite subscription, which we did have for this trip, which we borrowed, thank you, Matt, for lending it to us. I'm sorry I broke your device. I would always have that. This trip, we had none of that. We never had cell reception, essentially, for the whole middle of the trip trying to get through the coast of Quebec. A lot of times we were not within radio coverage. The only communication we had was the Garmin InReach, which is a satellite device that connects to our smartphones, so we can at least text people via satellite.
One of the first lessons I feel like we learned is when we fly, we're always looking for places to emergency land. Thankfully, we've never had to emergency land before, but I feel like now we look at potential emergency landing places completely different than we did before.
Not emergency, but maybe a little bit urgent times you have to land because of weather, say, which is what we encountered a bunch of times. It's those times, it's choosing the spot can be a little bit difficult because you also, I've always thought about things from an aviation standpoint. I've never had to think about things from a survival standpoint.
Yeah.
And we are not well-versed in survival at all. Anybody who's into camping probably is watching our series and be like, oh my God, these guys are so bad at camping.
Yeah.
And we're not claiming to be pros,
No, but now we kind of know, like, if we're gonna find a spot, an urgent spot to land, there should be somewhere where we can make a shelter or be close to a sheltered area, whether that's trees, whether that's a rock kind of face. and not just on a rock in the middle of the wind.
Yeah. Some factors are competing, we found. So while landing on top of a rock to make sure we get satellite coverage for our in-reach, it put us on top of a rock where the wind was the worst. So these are all kind of competing things that you sort of have to sort of gauge on the fly, in addition to try to fly the aircraft and land it. We gained experience there, I think. And I think about off-airport landings a little bit differently than I did before the trip. So lesson number 2, I think we felt a little bit rushed during the trip.
Yeah.
And this isn't really a lesson, but more so just an observation. We had 2 weeks to do the whole trip, but we hit so many delays up front. We felt this urgency to get to the spots and see the sights, do what we needed to do.
And just get out in case weather came again.
Yeah, it's like, okay, got this done, check off the list, let's get the hell out of here before we get socked in with weather again.
When we left Francois, I felt like I didn't have enough time there. I feel like it was definitely less than 24 hours. Like I realized after, barely took any photos of Francois.
It was like 4 days into the trip and we only had one destination done.
Yeah. So the next lesson we learned was like early resource management. The first night we camped, we were like, let's charge everything, dump cards, we were in high spirits. And so we used all of our backup batteries to charge all of our devices, which was a mistake. We quickly realized that, hey, if this weather doesn't clear up, we could be here for a couple of days and we have no way to charge any devices. And once our phones are dead, we have no way to contact anybody.
Yeah.
So that was like a really quick reality moment.
And that kind of goes back to us just not being experienced in survival. If you're bringing electronics that are potentially life-saving, have an instruction manual either as a PDF on your phone or have the actual instruction manual, because if we didn't know how to reset it or hard reboot it, then it would have been a brick.
Do you remember before we left on this trip, I said, we should get another external hard drive that's like 2 or 3 terabytes? And you said, no, we don't need that.
I do remember you saying that.
We needed it.
No, we didn't. We had just enough space. Perfect amount of space.
All of the micro SD cards got filled quickly. Make sure you have sufficient card space. That's a lesson that we learned.
The last lesson we learned here, and we kind of mentioned this already, is that you don't have the multiple layers of safety nets. The only safety nets that we had was filing a flight plan, and then if you don't show up at your destination airport at the time that you said you're gonna show up, they're going to eventually send search and rescue for you. So it was a bit of a double-edged sword because we knew we had these flight plans filed, but if we couldn't close them, then they're going to send search and rescue out.
Right.
And in order to be able to close them, we have to be able to contact somebody.
Once you cut out the flight plan, you basically have to make sure that you have somebody who cares enough about you to follow you on the link that you send them from the Garmin, which thankfully my mom, my dad, and your mom were very vigilant in checking that. So we knew we had a couple of people on the ground.
He basically said, if you haven't heard from us by our estimated time of arrival, and the Garmin is no longer tracking us, assume that we've crashed and call this 1-800 number to talk to flight services to dispatch search and rescue.
I kind of feel bad for putting all that pressure on our parents.
Yeah, but they would tell you right now, if they're ever watching this, they would say, what was the alternative?
No, exactly.
You not having anybody following you?
Can I just do something? I just really want to what is that growing on your face?
This has been how many days of growth now? Almost 2 weeks. Austin also was following us from time to time since we texted him on the top of that godforsaken rock. It was very reassuring for me because for the first time I had a pilot on the ground who knew exactly the information I was looking for. And in like 2 sentences, he knew exactly the problem. And he was calling airports up the coast looking for—
Such a boss.
Yeah, looking for observations, because those little stations weren't actually officially reporting weather. But he got some additional information that the only reason he would know to do that is because he's a pilot also. Yeah. So that was very helpful. Thank you, Austin. Everyone should follow his channel if you're into aviation and you want to check out more helicopter videos. We also used his survival kit video as a guide.
Yeah, for our survival kit.
For our survival kit.
Which thank God we didn't even have to touch.
Which is one of those things where you're glad you have it when you need it, but you hope you never need it. I souped it a little bit. We'll talk about that. Added a few, physician-specific items to it.
We'll do that in a separate video.
All right.
We took a lot of things.
We did. Did you see the back of our helicopter?
We probably took too much stuff.
We have 2 lists.
We have 2 lists, yes.
We have an MVP list and an LVP list.
The number 1, 100% top gold medal winner, Garmin inReach. Because my Jesus, we would have been fucking shagged without it.
And knowing that we had it allowed us to make the choices that we did.
But
number
also,
2 on the list.
Mosquito head tents.
Head tent. Best $10 we spent.
I don't have a mic on.
I'll talk loud so you can hear me. Best $10.
Our buddy Outdoor Lou was like, good luck camping in Labrador. The flies are maggoty. We were at the camping store and I saw the head nets and I was like, these are deadly. And we got the cheapest ones. They're like $3 each.
Well, the initial ones we picked up were like $24 each. And I'm like, there is no way I'm spending $24.
I think it was more of like a hat that fit on your head, where this was just like a mesh sack with like an elastic.
Yeah, these ones I think were $9. It was like $9.99 or something. It was definitely worth it. MVP number 3, gas cans.
Hell yes. Oh my God, we would have been so
They take up
multiple times.
They take up a lot of space.
They do.
I don't recommend flying with fuel, but man, having them saved us. It was just one more thing we would have had to track down when we landed in St. Paul's River, in addition to finding somebody to drive us an hour to the airport.
Number 4, the thing about Newfoundland is that it may be summer, it may be August, but you're probably gonna get rain, you're gonna get drizzle, you're gonna get fog.
There was still snow on top of some of the peaks that we were at.
I take my down coat everywhere. Chris never had one, and I said, Chris, you need a down coat. And he was like, nah, I don't think I need one. So I bought one, and I made sure it had a hood because you don't get a down coat without a hood. Are you happy that I bought it for you?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy that you bought it for me.
Wait, what was it that you said? Dude, you were so right.
I don't know if I said that.
Yeah, you wore that coat.
Is it in the footage?
Yes.
For getting me a hood with this thing, man, you were so fucking right.
If not, it didn't happen.
Man, you were so fucking right.
You wore that coat every day.
I did. Also, I wore this hoodie every day. Fleece-lined hoodie. I found this in Target. I think it was on sale because it's so out of season.
Yeah.
It so paid off. It was great. I was warm.
Packable down coats.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Here's what's up. MVP number 5. First, I thought these were a waste. I bought these microfiber towels, which you've seen in episode 1. And towards the end of the trip, I was like, oh, we never actually used these. Maybe we like didn't need them. And it wasn't until the last night, we didn't film this, but the light was getting low. And then
We're already on the ground at this point, but we're trying to set the tent up.
Yeah, and a thunderstorm came over and just pissed, and we got f***ing wrecked. We were soaked. Our down coats were like, bring them out, soaked through. Everything was wet.
Yeah, now the context of this is we saw thunder and lightning showers in the distance, so we landed, and then those said thunder and lightning showers went over us.
Yeah, so we were trying to get the tent up before it hit, and when we set up the tent, the door was open, so the inside of the tent got wet.
You threw the tarp over the top, or the fly over the top.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, you're trying to hold it on, but I'm trying to basically put the rods in.
It was like
we couldn't film any of this because we were just the goal at this point was survival.
Yeah.
The vlog and the series at this point went out the window, and
Yeah.
it was just 100% let's get this tent set up and try to get shelter. That was the whole goal.
That was
at
the
this
whole
point.
thing.
We were like holding on, screaming, "We should have waited! Why did you set this tent up? This is all your fault!"
you were like, we're fine. Like, the number 1 rule of survival is don't get wet.
I was like, we're in it now, Becki. There's no sense in playing the blame game.
So anyway, we get the tent set up, the rain stops, and we get in the tent, and we're soaked, hair is soaked.
The inside of the tent actually wasn't that wet though. There's a few.
Girl, please.
There's
I
a
was
few-
in there wiping up the floor.
Yeah, you wiped the floor
was
up.
soaked.
We had 2 towels. You used one towel to wipe the floor up. You
Yes.
used the other towel to wipe us up, and we were completely dry.
We
and
were
cozy.
at So thank God for the towels,
Very
because had we
cozy.
not had them, we would have been very uncomfortable. Least valuable players, always. We bring it, we never
Yeah.
use it.
A gimbal.
A gimbal.
A gimbal that will fly our A7S2 or the A6400 or an actual mirrorless size camera.
Yeah, I took it out of the helicopter and put it back in the helicopter 100 times, and every time I was like, what the f***? Why
Because
did
it
we bring
only
this?
fit on top of the pile.
It was
the
just such a
worst
weight. It
spot.
was worse. The second thing on our list were those little like pop-out chairs. I took them out of the helicopter. I put them into the helicopter. I took them out and in and out and in.
They fall off the pile.
Fall off the
Open
pile.
the door, they fall out.
off. We used them once.
Yeah.
When we were on the rock, and when we used them, they were great.
It was good. Cooking food in a wet, misty.
Yeah, moist.
On a moist rock. we were on a moist mound.
Ew!
Cooking on that moist mound, it'll. Cooking on the moist mound allowed
Did you
us.
just not call it a moist mound?
What? It was a mound.
When I watch you say moist mound with that
With this-
mustache.
It helped when we were cooking. But that was the only time we used them. And
Every time we camped, it was either raining, it was windy, it was foggy, and it was uncomfortable. You're not setting up a hammock in those conditions.
No, especially with all the flies. Last on the LVP list, the Gorilla Pod. People think it's a vlogger's essential.
Yeah.
In this case, it took up space. It was awkward. Filming with a Gorilla Pod in a helicopter, unless you got the doors off,
It
even
just
with the doors
doesn't
on,
work.
it doesn't work very well. Nothing on the list was detrimental to us being successful in this trip. It's just that looking back, these are the things that we probably could have cut and saved a bit of weight. and ultimately saved a bit of space.
Favorite part of the trip?
Why don't you guess what my favorite part of the trip?
I think that when we landed on top of that waterfall and you flew your drone through the doors off helicopter, that was your favorite spot.
Yeah, you're totally right. That was my holy grail drone shot, and we did it. We got it.
We let so many flies and wasps and horseflies into the helicopter.
Just to get that shot.
Oh, God.
Yeah. My least favorite part was probably anytime there was stress involved with getting from point A to point B, whether we were stuck on the rock, stuck waiting to try to get across the water again when the visibility
that's
poor.
Yeah. We're in Savage Cove.
Sick name.
Ran into a little weather across the pond there. By pond, I mean ocean. A nice family just came up to see the helicopter, and we just quickly chatting, and they said if we want to stay at their place tonight, we can, and to cook us up some supper. So, Newfoundland hospitality. But there's a barbecue going on up here today because it's come home year up here.
Bye.
Bye. They're having a celebration, big barbecue. Looks like there's some people gathering around over the building over there. So we're gonna go and see if we can grab some food. I'm a hot mess.
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry too, man. Pure strangers open up the door for you.
Yeah, offered us a hot shower, warm bed,
Yep.
hot meal.
Yep. Well, anyway, let's see if we can go and get some food.
All right, let's do it.
See if we go get some food now,
Hopefully they fire the barbecues up.
I hope so.
Well, it's come home week, lo.
Listen, the longer I'm home, the accent's out. So don't be judging me in the comments. Look at the firewood, my God. Sure, we could fire up our own scoff there tonight. Got to.
Fire up our own scoff.
We're gonna have to put a title, subtitle.
We'll make our own dinner tonight.
You're okay for us to land across in the little empty lot? Okay. All right, sounds good. We'll see you in a few minutes. Let's go. Wonder if they got a good feed of Fee and Chi.
Oh, so good. Starving. BLT and fries.
Fee and Chi.
Called the weather briefing hotline, which is how people used to get flight information or get weather information back before the internet existed. Man, they are knowledgeable and they're helpful.
Where you travel from anyway?
Buffalo, New York. It looks like the clouds are moving further east, so maybe in an hour the ceiling might lift and the fog might dissipate. Now the issue is that we've got some convective systems moving north, and the edge of radar coverage is right here, so we don't actually have any live radar info for where we are. I mean, we can look out the window and see if there's a thunderstorm or not. If it misses us and the fog lifts, we're going to be able to get out. If the thunderstorms hit us, then we're grounded. So that is what's going on now. Stuck in Flowers Cove, trying to get back to Buffalo. Will they make it back? Tune in the next episode. Hey, this is the last episode. Oh my God, will they make it back? Who knows?
Well, it's a few hours later and the weather still hasn't cleared, so we're gonna go take a nap in the heli. And then I hope that the weather clears.
Sigma!
Back to the motel. Yeah, one room left, a single double bed. Gonna be cozy. Better than the tent though. Yeah, getting stuck anywhere, whether it be on the mountain, trying to budget fuel.
That sucked. Oh my God, that sucked.
You haven't lived until you tried to hypermile in a helicopter.
My least favorite part of the trip was the last night we camped when we had to put it down on the side of that mountain, and it was pouring and we got soaked, and then I didn't sleep at all because I could hear bears in the forest.
There were no bears.
Wolves in the forest.
There were no wolves.
Killer in the night in the
There were
forest.
no killers in the night. These are all products of your imagination.
Killer in the night. My favorite part of the trip was the moment we came into Harpoon Island. The conditions were stunning.
Oh my God, it was so good.
And most people be like, oh, it was foggy. No, it was majestic as f. And I think I said at one point, like, this is better than New York City. This to me is Cold Island.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
It embodied, I think, everything that this Newfoundland trip we thought it was going to be and what it represents.
It's been a whirlwind.
I logged 40.6 hours.
The last time we talked about flight hours, we mentioned we're not going to be able to fly that much more anymore because, and people had a lot of questions about that. Can you give a Cole's notes for like why?
Helicopters are only good for a certain number of hours until you have to be rebuilt. We bought one that has a certain number of hours and a certain number of years left on it. And if you divide that out, we've budgeted about 80 hours per year of flight time.
So we just burned half of a year of flight time in 2 weeks.
We've just got to readjust how frequently we're flying. But I mean, you look at like the winter, we're not going to fly a lot in the winter time.
No.
Just because it's not as enjoyable.
I hope not. Last winter you were like, come on, let's go. And it was freezing.
Yeah, that's because the novelty of having a helicopter
Yeah, so you'll probably see less.
had worn off.
Yeah.
And you rolled over to your 100-hour milestone.
I did, and I'm excited to say that my motion sickness, I'm pretty sure, has gone.
That's improved significantly.
Would you do it again?
100%.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it soon. Not this year, not
No.
next year, not the year after.
I wouldn't say not even within 5 years. No.
We still have places we gotta hit.
I know. The trip is over, the series is over. It's kind of surreal because we've been working on this for so long.
But not just working on it, but planning it.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this for years.
So I hope you guys enjoyed the series. We had a lot of fun making it. We had a lot of ups and downs. We learned a lot about ourselves. We learned a lot about aviation. So if you like the video and all of the videos in the series, give them a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit the bell so you get notified when we post new videos. We'll see you on the next one.
I'm gonna go shave my mustache.
Just kidding, I don't hate it. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, you're your own man.
Well, my follicular density is too low.
Huh?
I can't grow a proper beard. Yeah, but we went and saw sites in Labrador.
One site. And it was in the ocean.
Well, there are multiple.
Well, anyway.
There are multiple icebergs, so multiple sites.
Can we get to the point so I don't have to like
Yes, get to the
go
point.
through the 40 minutes of footage of us
Okay,
rambling
all right,
about
next.
shit?
Next on the list.
Okay.
Hey, affirmative.
You look fantastic.
Do you think I'm a cool helicopter pilot?
You look like a cool helicopter pilot.
What if I flew like this all the time? Ready for action.
Affirmative. It is gonna be catastrophic.
Beautiful vistas. It's like, there's not even any point to film it.
Can you capture it?
Can't capture it, can't do it justice.
Let me get you a shot that you're not going to be able to appreciate because it
Doesn't do it justice.
doesn't do it justice at all.
Cut to the B-roll from before, because you did shoot a bit of footage before.
You just can't even get a good idea. Like, any telephoto lens.
Yeah, alright, you're falling into the slump again of not enjoying with your eyeballs. Bye!
Bye.